Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about the new movie, Better Man. If you end up enjoying this video, please consider liking and subscribing. That way I don't turn into more of a monkey than I already am. This movie is directed by Michael Gracie, whose most notable film is The Greatest Showman. The synopsis is as follows. The true story of meteoric rise, dramatic fall, and remarkable resurgence of British pop superstar Robbie Williams. So without further ado, let's get into the 6 things that make a movie great. 1. The plot. So like the synopsis said, this movie is the true story of Robbie Williams, except for there's a hitch. In this movie, Robbie Williams is portrayed by a monkey. I didn't know how this was going to work in the film, but it absolutely did. But him being portrayed as a monkey in this film makes it an incredibly unique telling of a story. You see him rise to fame at a very early age, and all the complications that come with being in the spotlight at such an early time in your life, and just his personal arc as he tries to figure out life while having the brain of a 15-year-old. I think the journey that this movie took us on was really well done, but I will say this, so much of this movie focuses on the spiraling out of Robbie that it gives very little time for anything else in the film. And personally, there are only so many times that I can watch a monkey do cocaine before I start to get pretty exhausted myself. That being said, this movie tells a great story, Robbie was a huge part of it, and they do it in a very unique way that holds the audience's attention. So for me, plot gets a thumbs up. 2 is family friendliness. Better Man is very much so rated R. You are swimming in an ocean of profanity for this entire movie. There is an exuberant amount of drug use and drinking, and a handful of sensual and sexual moments including partial male nudity and full frontal female nudity. Obviously not a film catered towards a younger audience, so for me, family friendliness gets a thumbs down. 3 is acting and script. I thought all the acting in this movie was great. There weren't any standout performances to me, but all the actors and actresses seemed to be giving it their all, and it all really gelled well. And it's almost arguably more impressive when there aren't any standouts because everyone's just doing a great job. And the script of this movie was pretty good. Like I mentioned, there is so much profanity in this movie, to the point where sometimes it gets distracting, but there are a lot of funny moments, a couple heartfelt moments, and some lines that show some real wisdom of what Robbie was learning during the process of his life, which is why I'm so glad that Robbie was a big part of making this movie. And one of the big things I have to mention is the fact that this movie is a musical. What a lot of musicals have done that I've seen as of late is that they'll throw in a song for the sake of throwing in a song, but it will not tell a story very well. This movie effectively used its songs to tell huge parts of the story, and I was really impressed with that. Not only that, but the vocalists did an incredible job. So for me, acting and script get a thumbs up. 4 is character development. Obviously, this is the story and development of Robbie Williams, and so we see his character go through a major shift over the course of this movie. There were some really heart-wrenching moments, especially between him and his grandma and his mom, that definitely made me tear up. And this film effectively using its musical numbers to deepen the story and character of Robbie was incredible. The one thing I will say is that there was a major character shift at near the end of the film, like the last 15 to 20 minutes, and I wish they would have paid more attention and given more time in the film to that part of his character changing, because it seemed like so much of it was focused on the fall and the spiraling out, but not enough was given to what came after. But for all intents and purposes, for me, character development gets a thumbs up. 5 is visuals and CGI. The elephant or monkey in the room that we have to address is the fact that the main character of this movie is a CGI monkey. But from the moment you saw him on screen, you were able to buy it, and there wasn't a moment during the film where my willing suspense of disbelief was challenged. One of the hinging points of this film is that they would get that dynamic to work, and it absolutely did. For the rest of the film, there was some bad CGI, but it wasn't incredibly noticeable. But visually, this movie was great. Especially during the musical numbers, you get to see a lot of different colors and routines come to life, and it was really fun to watch. And even though it went on for a bit, the visual representation of what Robbie was going through while he was on drugs or drinking, I think they did in a very effective way. There just was a lot of it. So for me, visuals and CGI get a thumbs up. And 6 is rewatchability. Better Man is 2 hours and 15 minutes long, and by the end of the film, you definitely feel that. So much of this movie focuses on the spiraling out of Robbie Williams as an artist, and I get that that's important. And I understand, especially when an artist is involved in the portrayal of their own story, there are moments that they think need to be included because they're so important to them, and I completely understand that. Sometimes, though, that doesn't relate to the audience exactly the way they want it to, but there were definitely a handful of moments that they could have taken out of this film and made it shorter. Other than that, I love that this was a very uniquely told told story, and I think that will make this film a popular watch in years to come. However, for me, I probably will never watch it again. It was definitely more of an experience than it is something that I would choose to watch over and over again. So while it was unique and a well-told story, for me, rewatchability gets a thumbs down. With all these areas considered, I have to give Better Man a 6 out of 10. This movie had a plethora of profanity that became distracting. It had an incredible amount of drug use that seemed a bit overdone, and it all made the runtime feel a bit bloated near the end of the film. But this movie had great storytelling in a very unique way, extremely effective musical numbers that deepened the characters and gave the story life, awesome vocal performances, and good CGI that didn't challenge your willing suspense of disbelief, all encapsulated in a very uniquely told story of Robbie Williams. So with all that in mind, if you enjoy musicals and very uniquely told real-life stories, you may enjoy going to see Better Man in theaters, but outside of that, you might just want to wait to watch it later. Thank you so much for watching. If you've seen Better Man, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. As always, I appreciate your love and support, and I'll catch you guys and gals in the next one.